All right, welcome everyone to the last breakout session of the conference. Thank you so much for being here and hanging in with us to the end. We are excited for this next session coming up with Leslie. I had the opportunity to meet with Leslie a couple months ago to talk about what we were looking for and what we wanted in the session, and right away, even virtually meeting with her, I really enjoyed our conversation and getting to know her. And I thought that with her experiences in being a leader and how she really believes in empowering people, that her message is going to have a nice thought process for you in thinking about your leadership at your Head Start program. I can tell that she is definitely a lifelong learner and is going to bring us a nice message today. So welcome, Leslie.
I received that. Thanks so much, Drew. What's up, everybody? I am so fired up to be here today. If you're still with me, I know that we're going to the end of the day, right? Like we've been sitting for a bit. I would love to just have, so I know that you're here with me, just throw up some heart emojis so we can get the energy going here. Let me know that you're here. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I want to start by honoring the work that you do. And leading in Head Start isn't a job, it's a calling. And you're not just managing programs, you're shaping futures. And let's be real, it's not easy. Between checklists, parent meetings, and the weight of team dynamics, it's easy to feel pulled in 1,000 different directions. And so I want to validate and acknowledge that, especially like in this time in the world. There's a lot going on. So I think it's easy to feel under attack and really be put in a pressure cooker. So this time together today is really about resilient leadership, aligning your values and purpose in challenging times. And so we are just going to spend some time together. I promise it's not going to be anything super, super complex, but if you have a journal, there's going to be a lot of moments here where we're going to get to kind of go inward and really reflect. And be very intentional with our time together. So I invite you to grab that pen and paper, and I will be walking you through some prompts. I'll be asking you some questions, and these are just generally good practices to kind of embark on, especially when you feel like you are rolling a boulder up a hill. And our time together is just a natural pause to take a breath and a chance to remember why you do what you do and to stay anchored when everything around you feels like a storm. So today is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are, on purpose and with purpose. So, you don't know me. I have not earned your trust yet. So, here's how I would like to introduce myself. My name is Leslie Liu, and my mission is to save and transform the lives of women globally who are impacted by gender-based violence. I believe in a future where every woman and girl can live free from fear, reclaim their voice, and thrive in their full power, where safety, dignity, and justice are not optional, they are non-negotiable. And I want to kind of really highlight what really brings me into this work. I've spent over 15 years teaching trauma-informed self-defense globally, and not just how to fight back, but really how to stand your ground. So how you manage difficult conversations, uncomfortable interactions. And so when we start thinking about, have you had moments in your role where there's just friction, right? Whether you might have a newer team member, you might have an interaction with a parent that it's just a hard conversation to have. My background is about helping you find your voice, speaking your boundaries, and really reconnecting with your body after it's been through hell. And I've served as a conflict resolution coordinator all throughout the San Francisco Bay Area and helping youth and adults navigate hard conversations with courage and empathy. And I'm currently a social emotional learning educator working with students to build emotional literacy, resilience, and community from the inside out. So there's a book over here that I recently wrote, which is I Have the Heart of a Warrior, Affirmations to Empower Kids. And so that has really helped me in the classroom of helping young people from underserved and underrepresented communities really find a way of, dealing with big feelings. And so this is just a little bit about who I am. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, international speaker, and humanitarian. Up there on the top, I most recently got to impact over 23,000 students on a recent trip to Kenya in a matter of 10 days. And so that picture right there is really, really special to me because those young girls, there was 2,000 of them standing in the rain, ready to hear parts about what I'm going to share with you today. So I'm not here to tell you who you are. I'm here to walk with you shoulder to shoulder as we remember what it means to lead with our values, our voice, and fierce compassion. So if you're here for it, if you're feeling it, I'd love to just hear where everybody's connecting in from. I'd love to just see some movement in the chat. Like I mentioned, I'm over here in the San Francisco Bay Area.
So Leslie, this is really interesting. When I hit on chat, it just keeps spinning for me. I'm not seeing anything coming up in the chat box right now.
That's okay. We're just gonna roll with it, you guys, because tech be teching. So if you are here with us and answering these questions, beautiful. Thank you so much for your attention. But you know what? I'm here. I'm here to hold space. So we're just gonna reflect, just like I promised. So if you've got that notebook, definitely jot this down. And if you're watching the replay, I would love to just invite you to co-create this time together. I'd love to just start off with a question of who you are as a leader today. And so natural pause. I want to give us all about a minute to think of a moment recently when you felt so aligned, proud, effective, and clear. And so 3 questions I want to ask you as you're journaling or just going inward is, what were you doing? Who were you with? And what qualities were you leading with? And I'm gonna give us another 30 seconds, and I'll open it up here in a second. But this is about us just taking time to build community here. So I'm just gonna give you another 30 seconds or so, and invite any shares if anyone has any. Okay, amazing. Let's test out this chat box. I'd love to invite anyone who maybe something resonated with you or something stuck out as you were reflecting on these questions. What qualities were you leading with? Who were you with? What was it that you were doing?
And Leslie, I've clicked back on the chat box and it's spinning for me. So I don't know if others are able to write anything in there. I haven't had this situation happen yet.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Well, I have the opportunity then I'm sure that you're all here with me, and that's okay if the chat isn't moving. I will then pivot and share with you all kind of some reflections and stories. And so then that would be a really great opportunity for you to see how that might fit for you. So, if I think of a moment recently when I felt aligned, proud, effective, and clear, I'll tell you what it is that I was doing. So, recently I was brought on to rewrite an anti bullying policy for a private school because they had so many cases and situations of kids just not showing up and whatnot. And so I came in and helped the school rewrite from a 2-paragraph anti bullying policy to a 13-page and to develop a process. And so that was something that was in my wheelhouse. And who was I with? I was with the principal at the time and a room full of teachers who the staff had recently gotten reconstituted, and so they were new leaders, and a lot of them were apprehensive. A lot of them were not feeling me and feeling the approach because they knew that they were on the receiving end of conflict, of youth just being not focused and concentrated. And what they would report out to me is just like, I just feel so burnt out and I feel so tired. It's already hard enough being in a classroom, yet having to deal with these distractions and whatnot. And so the qualities I was leading with in being in a room of leaders that didn't even want me to be there in the first place, of like, why do we need someone to talk through conflict resolution, and why is intervention and things like that, like why is that even necessary? So long story short, they were poo-pooing on my work. Like, what is the benefit of trauma informed? What is the benefit of, essentially conflict resolution? And so I sat there with the quality of compassion and empathy. I sat there even though I may have not necessarily agreed with everything that was being said towards me, because people were being very, very reactive. That is the strongest quality I have as a leader, is to understand both sides of like, okay, these are new teachers in the environment. They don't feel like they have a lot of support. They just want to kind of take these young people that are not concentrating in school and they just want to put them somewhere. They don't want to deal with it. They don't have the bandwidth. And so who I am as a leader is being able to relay back to them with empathy, of acknowledging like, yeah, I get it. Like, that is a challenge, but I'm actually here as your advocate. And so long story short, I was able to help them with a series of 9 interventions in 2 weeks with parents having conflicts, really uncovering for the young people what was really at the heart of why they were not paying attention, right? And a lot of times it did have to do with the teacher. And so being able to hold conversations on both sides is a practice, right? Even if you're within your own teams, I think it's something to be, aware of. Is like, this is who I am. Like, I am going to hold space and have everyone feel safe. So what I just touched upon is a leadership truth, and truth is where resilience begins. It's not pretending to be someone else. It's really just owning who you are. And so, again, back to this question of who am I as a leader, and when am I at my best? And for me, the answer was very clear. I'm at my best when we are in spaces like this where we are building community. I can't see you. I may not be able to interact with you in the chat or whatnot, but we're here and we're here together, and there's collective power in that. So, I want to invite you to spend some more time really thinking about, what qualities was I leading with when I felt my best? So now let's dive deeper into clarifying your core values. Resilient leadership isn't just about grit and pushing on through to the next thing. It's about alignment. So here's a bold question for you. What do you stand for even when no one is watching? And another way that we can look at this is, who are you? What do you stand for? Who do you fight for? Very, very simple. And if you are able to write something in the chat, I'd love to hear. Have you ever done this practice of identifying your core values? If not, that's okay too. Awesome. Okay, I'm just going to move on. So, in a second, we are going to go through an activity of choosing 3 to 5 values that speak to your heart of leadership. Not the coulda, shoulds, or I should be this or what. It's really the real ones. And I want you to ask yourself, where in my role do these show up clearly? And where are the ones where they are getting lost in the noise or the pressure? So I'm going to pull up a screen here. And hopefully you can see that, a list of values.
Yes, we
Okay.
can see that, Leslie.
Wonderful. Okay. I am going to hold this up for you all for a few minutes. This is Brene Brown's list. You can literally Google search a list of values, and I want you to identify your top 3 to 5. We have things like service, growth, perseverance, resourcefulness, wholeheartedness, loyalty, giving back. That's something definitely that was important for me. So I want you to take a minute and pick your top 3 to 5.
Leslie, I'm wondering if you can make the screen just a little bit bigger. It's hard to read those words on the white side
Okay.
of the
Let's see if
white
we
paper.
can.
Oh,
Let
maybe
me,
if you scroll down a little bit, we can see yeah, there we go. We can see those.
Great. Let me just scroll up a little bit. We have
Not
things
all
like
of them at once,
cooperation,
Maybe
leaders.
you can
Yeah,
scroll down just a little bit as they've had a chance to look at these.
sure. We have truth. We have things like trust, teamwork, optimism. How's that? Wonderful. How's that? We have things like truth, teamwork, equality. Great. I'm going to give us all another minute or so, but just pick the ones that really speak out to you. Maybe you already know. But a lot of times when I work with leaders in different spaces, a lot of the feedback I get is, I've actually never done this activity, or I'm in an environment where I have an entirely new team and we haven't even done this. And the reason why I think it's so crucial to do this is you want to understand what your anchors are. And it's good to do collectively as a team to understand, okay, well, yeah, this is really where I was leading from. Not good or bad, but it's a place of really providing you with that compass. So just going to give you another second or so. Wonderful. So again, choose the 3 to 5 values that speak to your heart. And the questions were, where in my role do these show up clearly? And where are they getting lost in the noise or the pressure? Like if this is what I stand for example, with compassion, accountability, creativity, or courage, like when I do get pushback, does that still ring true? So here's where we're going to take from insight to action. We're going to create your personal leadership mission. And so I've taken the liberty to give you a fill in the blanks. And this is a beautiful reflection. And anytime you feel like you're in murky waters, you're having a really tough day, your leadership mission is something that I recommend everybody to create and to develop a practice every day to say out loud. So your personal leadership mission can simply be, I lead with blank, blank, and blank. So you could insert any of those 3 to 5 values that you selected in our last exercise. And my mission is to insert value so that what? And an example of this is one that I recently created, which is, I lead with integrity, compassion, and fierce clarity. My mission is to advocate for every child's right to be seen and heard so that no family is left behind. And that was really important to me recently. And I'm going to share why, because a lot of the program that I was working in at this one location was a lot of budget constraints. And so a lot of kind of the work that I was doing and really building out a peer resources program, or to have an older set of young people mentor another set of people and teach them conflict resolution skills, was just getting disbanded. So it's just one of those days where it's like, I'm just going to cry, because how can I do meaningful work if I'm not feeling the support? And so the things that I'm advocating for you for today are the very things that resuscitate me and bring me back. And this is a practice that I have brought into a lot of school districts, but I have also worked in corporate environments. And I will tell you that this translates very well, whether you are someone at a school site or if you are a solopreneur building a 6-7 figure business. So I'm gonna give you another second or so to really write that down. And it's okay if you don't have that figured out now, but I'm giving you a structure and a practice. Today we went over, what are my core values? And I'm gonna write my personal leadership mission. Okay. So you don't have to earn your worth as a leader. You already are one. But resilient leadership isn't something we figure out in isolation. It takes intention, alignment, and community. And so today I challenge you with a couple of things. Number one is return to your mission in moments of chaos. So, fill in the blanks from this previous exercise, have it written down somewhere. I like to have it as a screensaver on my phone. I have it as a sticky note on my laptop. So really creating the mission statement, and next, using your values as decision-making filters, right? And leading not from fear or perfection, but on purpose. So there's power in having this written in multiple places, your notebook or whatnot, because it's a visual reminder. And I guarantee you that it's something that can help anchor and ground and release your nervous system. So I will challenge you to create this, to identify the values, to create the mission statement, and practice saying it out loud. And that's where reclaiming your power, really being able to stand your ground when you are up against a lot of challenges on your day to day is a practice that is part of somatic grounding, is really what I'm suggesting here. So, as we're kind of wrapping up here, I want to invite you to take the next step, not for me, but for you. A lot of my expertise is really around helping individuals and teams really identify what is a pain point and what they're really struggling with. So, if anything really stirred up for you today or resonated with you, of like, you know what? I don't even have one thing written on. This was a struggle, right? I invite you into a free consultation, a 20-minute consultation with me, and we can really kind of dive deep into something strategic around like, well, what are the roadblocks for you? So that's what I'm extending to you here today. And if you find yourself with your own team having tensions, having difficulties really just getting on the same page in terms of from a communication standpoint, I really specialize in working with teams in building out a way of really coming to understand one another and coming to a place of clarity so that you can be a more effective team. So I'll pause for a second. Please feel free to scan the barcode and we can hang out for 20 minutes. And I'd love to just really connect with you, especially because I don't really get to see you too much today, and really hear at the heart what you may be struggling with. I do really good with conflict and kind of helping with certain situations. So if you find yourself in certain circumstances of like, I'm always encountering this, and I don't really know how to get past that, then I invite you into kind of have that conversation. But I appreciate everyone's time and energy today. And hopefully, if you take one thing from today, it's really knowing that you have the ability to be your authentic self. And it may seem like a very simple action, but if you just had those 2 or 3 core values embedded in your mind, it will help when you don't know what's going to come at you the next day. So for me, it's love, courage, and community. And so for you, it might be something else. And so I invite you to identify your values and talk to your colleagues about it, because it's a great reference point in understanding when someone is not steady or is frustrated, as a way of having language around how to show empathy with one another and how to show up for one another. So you're showing up for yourself and you are showing up for those around you. So I really want to thank you all for your time today. If there are questions and the chat is open, I'm more than happy to open up the space.
So Leslie, thank you for sharing this activity. I'm sitting here, I work for a program, a Head Start program in Michigan, and I have 6 coaches that I supervise and work with that go out into the field and work with the teachers. And I was just sitting here as I was listening and looking at that little activity, that this would be a great thing to do with the coaches that I work with, and have us kind of look at this together and give them some time to reflect and write out their thoughts on this. And then if they feel comfortable and safe to be able to share this out and kind of help each other in reminding, when those tough times